So it's been an hour on the lowest heat, and I have to say it feels different stirring it than it did when we started. Um, like the cucumber pulp itself feels thicker or more congealed. The oil on the outside kind of feels the same, but the yeah, the cucumber pulp feels a little bit different. So I'm going to keep at it, but I don't really thinking about it, I don't really think it's going to soak up much more than that. Maybe it will, but it hasn't changed color. And that was one of my big worries, was that it was going to turn yellow or brown directly in the pot as I'm cooking it. I've also mixed my lye with my water, and I'm waiting for that to cool down to a point where I think it'll be the same temperature as this. I'm trying to pay really close attention to my temperatures. Turning the oven to the lowest temperature it'll go, which is warm. Alright everyone, I just added the lye to this, and already it's gotten a little cloudier than it was before. And I'm just going to keep stirring. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's a slight, tiny bubble popping noise that's happening in the pot. It smells like cucumber. I wonder if that smell is going to stay. I'm debating putting any essential oil or fragrance oil in this at all, just to see what the smell will be like at the end by itself. Or should I add sandalwood? I don't know, but I've got a little bit of time to think about it, so. You see it getting cloudy and murky? It's going to get even cloudy and murkier once I hit it with a stick blender. Oh, yes. Well, would you look at that? It lightened up, but it's got a greenish tinge to it. And the blender really did chop up all the pieces even a little finer than they were before. That's lovely. A little bit about the process that I'm going to try to use tonight. I'm going to mix it to trace and do everything like I normally would for cold process and pour it into my silicone mold, which is set up over here on a tray on wax paper. And then it's going to go into the oven that I've preheated to its lowest setting. It's going to sit in there for an hour with the oven on, and then I'm going to turn the oven off but leave the soap in there and leave the whole thing in there overnight. And what that should do is it should bring the whole thing to gel. And I was a little concerned about doing this with all of the cucumber in it because I wasn't sure that all of it was going to go through the chemical process to make soap, and then I'd just have pieces of cucumber floating around in soap, and that it would turn to mush and brown jelly. So I'm hoping by ensuring that the whole thing goes through its gel phase that I can avoid any unpleasantries later. So that's the deal. Instead of covering it with blankets or insulating it, I'm going to force the gel phase to happen. And thank you very much, Audrey Hunts, for your input and tips and pointers and all that other good stuff. That was exactly the information I was looking for at exactly the time when I was biting my nails wondering about today. So yay! It all worked out, or is working out. It will work. It will work. How are we doing here? Not quite trace, or either that or it's a really, 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 really light trace. Alright. So snap decision, it's reached trace. And it's more or less stopped smelling like cucumber. Which is a little disappointing, but cucumber isn't a very strong fragrance to begin with. So I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and add my sandalwood. And I know that doesn't really seem like it would match, sandalwood and cucumber. But I have a bunch of different types of sandalwood that I've been itching to try. So, try we shall. I'm going to put in my jojoba. Yep. And I'm also going to put in my sandalwood. Wow, sandalwood is strong. It's not a bad thing. Did I just stick my finger in there? I did. This is why we wear gloves. Alright, well while I stir this and then clean myself off, I'm going to put you down. And, I'm also going to put the aloe vera in there. Just because we've been putting it in all of the soaps, and so we're just going to see how it does. I'm going to stir it even more with the blender. I'm pretty sure that the cucumber by now is pureed in there. It's not really chunks anymore so much as tiny little itsy bitsy pieces floating around in the soap. But after it comes to a thick, thick, thick and creamy trace, then I'll pour it into the mold, and then we'll pop it in the oven. But then I can't peek, and that means you can't peek either. Because if I open up the oven, then all the heat will escape, and that'll defeat the purpose. So, I'm going to keep an eyeball on it. I'm going to take little peeks through the window now and again. But it's so dark in there, I don't think you're going to be able to see anything. We can try. Just to make sure that it's not bubbling over, overflowing, or doing anything funny. But that's also why we have the wax paper and the tray. Importante. Alright, I'm going to clean myself off because it feels strange stirring with my finger extended like this.